After watching Volume 1, the biggest question now is simple. Who isn't making it out alive? Because with the new scenes, the 2024 filming leaks, and the clues the Duffers left behind, the list of potential deaths just got much smaller and much more terrifying. There are characters who might die, characters who could die, and at least 2 characters we can almost guarantee will not survive the final battle. Yes, it's that serious, and that's not all. We now have updated info pointing toward how the series is truly going to end. The final twist the Duffers have been hiding since Season 1. So if you want the full picture, the shocking deaths, the unexpected survivors, and the real ending of Stranger Things, don't blink, don't skip, stay right here. Hey Stranger Things fam, I'm your host Jake, and you're watching Explainverse. There are spoilers of characters who will survive. Spoiler alert of what we know from the filming here. As always, this video is only for those who really want to see. But now the point is the following. We have Volume 1 that came out, the first 4 episodes are already out, so now we can put together what we saw in Volume 1, the story, and things we didn't know with what we saw from the filming last year. And now we can understand a little better and make this list of possible deaths, because there really can be 1 or 2 in a slightly narrower way. And in this case, in this video, I separated here 5 names. Yeah, 5 names that not all are really relevant, but yes, that I consider based on the filming in Volume 1 that there is a possibility that they still die at the end. While the others that are on this list, what I can say is that the probability of them surviving at the end is more than 95%, based even on what was filmed. There are some there that we can even confirm. But let's start, because the first character on the list that I want to bring, that yes, has the possibility of dying in this ending, still until the end of this season, continues to be Ted Wheeler. It's Mike and Nancy's dad, who was one of the victims of the Demogorgon attack there in Episode 2 of this Volume 1 of the 5th season. That's right, we don't have that many mentions of this character in the filming and everything. He's never important in the story of the series. This is a big important issue, worth pointing out, right? But anyway, from the filming there was no confirmation of his death. What we had was the Demogorgon attack, but by the level of importance of the character, we imagined that they would have the courage to kill him. Volume 1 ended. Ted died, didn't die. He was in an induced coma, as was mentioned there to Mike and Nancy, but he's still in the hospital with all this situation. Only what happens, right? It's already planned, we already know, this is confirmed, that in this Volume 2, there will be an attack of Demodogs on the hospital. That is mainly Vecna, who will send them there to be able to kill Max, because Max is there inside Vecna's mind doing all that mess. So this attack will hit the same hospital where Ted is. And yes, he can be one of the victims even now, after recovering from the Demogorgon attack. Like, the guy has no luck. He was attacked by the Demogorgon, and in the same hospital there will be a Demodogs attack. And the possibility of this happening is very big, even more, because this here will count for the next person too, right? We had a big leak last year, at the time they were filming the final scenes there of Stranger Things in December, of a scene that shows the epilogue, right? Part of the epilogue, after the great battle, after all the issues of solving the upside-down issues, with Hawkins returning to normal. And the only 2 characters that appeared in that public filming were Hopper and Mike. And of the 2, the saddest one, who even needed to be supported by Hopper, is Mike himself. At the time, right, obviously people launched theories that it could have to do with 11, that 11 died. Could it have something to do with that? But calm down, because we'll get to the 11 point. Because Mike is more moved, and other things, I would say it may have much more to do with a Wheeler. Because remembering this, his family, except Nancy and Holly, now that they have more importance, the rest is very secondary, tertiary. And although the brothers like to kill characters, these ones, I believe they would have courage. So, like this, the Demodogs attack on the hospital resulting in Ted Wheeler's death, and at the end of the series epilogue Mike is very sad because he had to bury his father, something like that, would be perfectly possible. So Ted's name still continues on the list of possibilities of death this season. This one, there's no way to nail, but I would say I believe the Duffers would have this courage, just like the next name, because when we talk about Ted, there's no way not to talk about Karen, because look what happened. The spoilers, the leaks from last year, when a lot of people weren't believing about Karen in the hospital with injuries because of a Demogorgon attack, they were confirmed, right? Whoever watched the videos from last year here saw that there was a person, a fan, who entered the hospital set after they filmed on the set, and they left remnants of the filming. including the scenic medical record of Karen herself. When Karen is admitted to the hospital, they made a scenic medical record highlighting how the patient entered, everything that happened. And there are the descriptions. Laceration on the body, near the neck, everything exactly the same as we saw in the series. So the spoiler was perfectly right. Everything matched. And exactly because of that, the leaks are much more reliable. They are on a much more probable path. Remembering, for last year's filming, did it confirm that Karen is going to die? There was no such confirmation. Just like Ted, the information was that she was going to be seriously injured, was going to end up in the hospital. But it's the same principles. They are Wheeler characters that the Duffer brothers themselves, I think, would have courage to kill. And it would make sense for Mike to be crying also because of the death of his own mother, you know? I'm not saying both the father and the mother are going to die, but I believe that one of the two, or both, do have the possibility of dying. We can keep them on this list, you know? They are considerable points. They are points that are still valid. That's right, because Vecna, he won't forgive, you know? He won't forgive this type of person. He's with his objectives of children. He only injured the two there because they got in the way, exactly protecting the family. And if they are in the way, even in the hospital, if they are there when the Demodogs are loose to kill everyone, the Demodogs will kill. Vecna really doesn't stop. If you're still here, it means you didn't just watch. You truly enjoyed this video. So please, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Every click, every sub, keeps me motivated to work harder and bring you the very best content. Your support means the world to me. Let's keep this journey going together. But back to the list of possible deaths in this last season of Stranger Things. I talked about the Wheelers, eliminated 2 here from this list, and like this, we won't suffer that much with a farewell to them. I think we'll suffer more seeing Mike suffering because of that. Nancy, okay, makes sense. But the next ones here will generate more impact and more talk if they really happen. Following the list, I want to go to a name that we weren't confirming this season because there were only rumors that she could appear, but is now confirmed, mainly in episode 4, we have to talk. We need to talk about Kali, 008, 11's sister. Yes, this is a character that we can put on this list now, you know? Because she was confirmed in the series. We can put her on this list of possible deaths. Am I confirming that Kali is going to die at the end of Stranger Things? I'm not. And I know this also generates controversy. A lot of people will see this here and say, no way, Jake. That they brought Kali after so long, so many years, to kill her in the season. So there were talks. Remembering, this part that I'm going to talk about here is not confirmed spoilers, fan rumors, ideas, theories that Vecna himself could kill Kali. And although it's nothing 100% reliable, if you think about the prehistory, it would make sense. Because Kali is not one of these most important characters that we have more attachment to in the story. So like this, you can imagine, for example, a tragedy at the end. Vecna putting Will, right? Possessing Will for Will to use powers against his group and kill Kali. Will killing Kali. Imagine the trauma that would stay for Will. I believe that if they are courageous, at least at this level, they could do this a lot. And even more now that Kali will be there to help 11 against Vecna. One of the main functions, I believe, of Kali arriving is exactly that, because she's one more who has powers. And I believe a lot that her powers will be used in a sense that was presented in this Volume 1. Because there in the Max and Holly thing, we saw Vecna's own weakness, that he doesn't enter that cave. And why doesn't he enter? Because of traumas. That cave represents a trauma. I already explained this in several videos. In the play Stranger Things, the first shadow from Broadway, written by the Duffer brothers to complement the series, it shows that Henry Creel, still a child, the first time he got powers was when he entered a cave in Nevada and ended up in Dimension X. It was there that he met the Mind Flayer for the first time, and then he started to gain powers. So that cave very probably represents that. That's why he doesn't enter the cave where Max and Holly are now. So like this, if it's a place of trauma, very probably they will try to access this trauma to weaken Vecna himself. It can be a key. And who can access traumas? Who is a person who can distort the reality of what people are seeing? Who has this power? Exactly, 008, Kali. So like this, my dear, it would make a lot of sense if Kali tries to work with Vecna's traumas. But Vecna, for being so powerful, turns the game and kills Kali. I wouldn't doubt that. Again, I'm not confirming Kali's death, but we can't say, "Ah, she's not on this list, there's no possibility of dying." Several others are saying that. And because of the filming and everything, but Kali, there's no way to remove her. Especially because she was a character they inserted into the filming with so much caution that practically nothing leaked. Only that one scene I commented on, about Eleven and Hopper walking to the car and we didn't know who the mysterious person was. Now we discover it's Kali. Only that. The rest, there's no way to know. So in a final battle and such, I would say yes, there is a real possibility of something happening with Kali. But like this, let's continue the list, because now we get to the most important points of this season, names that I even mentioned several times in this video. And yes, we have to talk about the most mysterious character of the filming. Makes sense they did this, right? They hid the game the most during filming. Like this, a bunch of leaks about a bunch of people, endings of a bunch of characters, but nothing leaked about Eleven's ending. Nothing about Eleven herself, about Jane Hopper. We simply don't know. They simply didn't let anything leak about Eleven's ending. From this list here, I think it's the most likely, Vecna dying at the end. Because this evil has to be eliminated. From the filming, we saw that Hawkins returns to normal. If Hawkins returns to normal, the Upside Down will end. All of this will be reversed. And for all of this to be reversed, I think Vecna has to cease to exist. Henry Creel has to cease to exist because everything is based on the contact that Henry Creel had there at the beginning with the Mind Flayer. So like this, I think the Mind Flayer himself will be destroyed. It's exactly because of that I put Henry Creel or Vecna here. These are the main ones that we can really believe still have possibilities of dying. All the other more main ones, yes, everything indicates they survive at the end. That's why I gave the spoiler alert at the beginning of the video. These shouldn't die from the filming and everything, but the Duffers may have filmed another alternate ending. There was a rumor there. Yeah, there were some not so reliable sites saying they filmed 3 endings and everything. For some series, they do that. But I'll tell you, everything indicates that these scenes of the square, of Hopper with Mike, the graduation itself, which had no images, only information that came, they are the definitive ones. Exactly because of that, all the other characters that I didn't mention in this video, everything indicates that, unless there's a surprise, they really survive at the end. Only these others here are still at risk. It's a Stranger Things ending without many deaths, even because the series doesn't necessarily have to be about death. We always fall into this expectation with every series ending, but no, it doesn't have to be. I believe that if there is a very important death, it will be one, only one. I don't believe in an ending where Eleven and Vecna both die together. One dies, or the other dies. I believe it would be more or less that. And you, what do you believe? Comment there what you think, right? And that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to drop a like, share it with your friends and fellow Stranger Things fans, and hit that subscribe button, plus ring the bell so you never miss an update from Explainverse. Thanks so much for watching. You guys are the best, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Stay strange, and peace out.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I breathe.